The left-hand case, which is upside down at the minute, you can see you can stand it that way, has had all its gasket faces cleaned. It's had its initial all-over clean. It will be getting a second one once all the rest of the work's done, to make sure there's no other debris left. All the threads are in good condition. So really the only thing left, apart from cleaning the sump gasket area, which I've forgotten, is to get this seal out, which is held with these, well, not held, but it's assisted in position with these punch marks, which is unusual. I'm not sure why they have them. But anyway, it's going to have to come out that way, come what may, because the race is still inside. And to be honest, it goes that way anyway. So I'll just prop the back of this up. Like so. A big wobble. Now then, I am expecting problems with this, because as well as the fact that it's been staked from the other side, the seal is absolutely rock hard through age, and I don't think this is going to want to move particularly easily. But we have no choice but get it out. So we need a hammer, which I, as usual, thought was next to me and isn't. So I'll bring it back when I found the hammer. Right, hammer located, punch. Don't know if you can see that, but there's the race, which is in lovely condition, completely unmarked. And then inboard of that is our old and very, very hard rubber seal. And that's what I will be attempting to shift. So fingers crossed, here goes. Oh. I needn't have worried. Right, so I'm going to clean up this gasket face, which I forgot, and the sump strainer case down here, surface I should say, and then it's going to go back in the parts washer for another wash, and then this too will be ready to go and sit and wait until the arrival of the various seals and things that I need, which will be on order very shortly. So I'll just scrape that off, and that's another job done. While we're sorting out the cases, this is the strainer filter that sits in the bottom of the engine. It bridges two crankcase halves, and just like the frame, somebody with an overwhelming love of gasket goo has been in here. I mean, that's dreadful. And if any, look at the amount of stuff that's on there. It's ridiculous. Again, like I mentioned when I was doing the frame, if any of that had got inside the engine, which thankfully I haven't found any, the havoc it would wreak doesn't bear thinking about. Right, so we need to clean those off now. Old sludge in there, but it's not gritty. No, not gritty. Good. I'll clean it off and show you when it's clean. That's them cleaned up. Gasket faces have been sanded off. There's a bit of discoloration in the steel, but nothing of any importance. And again, a bit of discoloration around here where the wire mesh sits. It's not near the gasket area, so I'm quite confident that will seal up perfectly well when it goes back together. So it'll get another wash now to get rid of any remaining debris. Just give it a little quick scrub. Another dunk in the parts washer, and that can join the left-hand crankcase waiting for assembly. The right-hand case has also had its initial clean, so I'm going to go around and clean all the gasket faces like I did on the other side. The cam's fine, as we thought. All the threads are good, all the studs are good. Well, actually, looking at it, I suddenly noticed that one of the studs for the oil filter plate looks a bit naff. I shall look at that in a minute. Anyway, there is another oil seal here where top gear shaft comes through. Now, it is quite large, and I don't have, ouch, 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 I don't have my proper seal removing equipment here either. So, I'm going to work my way around it and try and gently lever it out. Because you can't get to it from inside, which is really irritating. Let's give that a tap, I'll come back. Right, I just went round with the screwdriver and he's gently tapping down, and luckily it popped out. So that's all good. The bearing in there is retained by a circlip, so if I wanted to take it out, I'd remove the circlip and it'd be driven out from this side, coming upwards. But I've no intention of doing that, as there's absolutely nothing wrong with it. So it will get a new seal. Which is good. So, apart from gasket surfaces, I don't think there's anything else to do on this side either, so I'll get on with it. Get on with taking these off, and then I will get its second wash. And it should all be ready to go, because all the bushes are good, including the notorious tiny side bush. Cam bushes, all bang on. So I'll get rid of this, clean it again, and then we'll blow through all the passages to make sure everything's clear. And then the bottom end, as far as the cases go, should be ready to reassemble. The left-hand case is getting prepared now, ready for assembly of the bottom end. I just bought an oil seal kit as a kit, and I'm starting to regret it already because it doesn't seem to have all the oil seals in it. But anyway, I shall discover more about that later. So we're going to replace one here. The bearing's oiled. Oh dear, I was going to put some sealant around the outside, but it seems to have gone off. Bear with me while I dig it out. Right, just going to have a very, very faint smear around the outside, just to take up any minor imperfections, which hopefully there won't be any. And it is a very faint smear. I've got it all, yep. Square it up. No. Doesn't seem to want to start at all. Don't worry. Right, well, let's try it with the driver. See if that's any better. That's rather unimpressive. It's a rubber seal. It isn't metal cased. Oh, it should want to start easier than this. Oh, right, I think that's got it. And indeed it has, good. Level. Yep. That's in. Maybe one more for good luck. Yep, that'll do. Right. So, another problem with this case was we were missing, well, we have a damaged stud down here. Let's see if you can see that. Bring it down. We have a damaged stud here which I took out by the two locking nut method, and that's what we're going to use to put it back. So I'm just going to get the stud. Right, new stud, two nuts locked together. I was going to use some Loctite just to hold it in, but I appear to have run out. It's going well today, isn't it? Right, anyway, to be honest, it probably won't need it. It's not under any great load. So that just needs screwing in till the shoulder is flush with the case. Just about there. Don't overdo it. And just break the two nuts to release them. Good. I'll go down the shops and get some more Loctite. Next up, I've got to blow through all the various oil orifices. Make sure everything's clear. I won't bore you with all those. Basically, I'm just going to go around them all and make sure there's no obstructions. Right, that all seems clear, so just going to put some assembly lube on the bushes just to help with initial startup. Oh, it's gooey. I'll also do the cam lobes just while they're sitting. And where the bush will sit, or where it will sit in the bush, I should say. Right, let's go on to them. And last but not least, the little needle roller bearing hidden away in the bottom here. Just to make sure it's got some help when it starts up. The output bearing's been oiled, so that should be okay. Right, that case half is ready reassembly. Let's have a look at the other one. Right, this case also has an oil seal. This is the one that had the 4 peen marks on it. I think I've removed the protrusions, which weren't that high to be honest, so we're going to just do the same as on the other side. Tiny bit of sealant around the outside of the seal. It is tiny. And it pops. Also reluctant to start. Very reluctant to start. Try a bit of gentle persuasion. No. No, they're all ground down enough, that should fit. Let me try a different method. Right. I'm just going to have another look at these peen marks and bring you back in a second. Right, typically, I was just trying it after double checking the peen marks, and it popped straight in. So you didn't actually see that go in, but believe me, it just went in really easily. So it must have been one of these marks being slightly higher than I thought, because I gave him a very light rubbing and it popped. So I don't intend repeening that. To be honest, I think that was pretty tight, and also with the sealant around the outside, I don't think that's going to go anywhere. Oh, although on balance, maybe I should just give him a little tap. I will give him a little tap. Indecision. I'll go and find a punch. Right, I'm sure this is overkill, but I'm going to do it anyway. We'll just give it a little. Right, I've just taken the edge of the old punch marks onto the edge of the seal, which has got to be enough, with the sealant in there as well. That's more than secure. Right, so the only bearing surface that needs protection here really is this one. It's a bit mucky from sitting, so we'll give that a quick smear of assembly lube just to give it a fighting chance. I will of course be oiling the rollers that sit in there anyway, but additional oh, forgot the bush for the cam. Right, so that's ready as well. Good. So now we have to get a crank in one side and start applying our gasket sealant to the case halves. The crank reassembly then restarts by fitting our plug with the locating hole in line with our flywheel hole, hopefully. In fact, I'm going to need a torch for this, thinking about it, just to make sure I'm in the right place. Because you need to line the holes up. So that needs to go in there like that, which she doesn't want to do. Go in a little bit more. Yep, that's right. Let me just get a little screwdriver and check. Right. That seems... No. There we are. Yep, that's centralised. So our bolt requires a small amount of Loctite. Right, so I looked for a torque figure in the workshop manual, but I didn't spot one. So we'll just make it tight. Oh no, we won't. That's not good enough. Why is that? Tripped up the wrong socket. Yep, I have. How did I manage that? Let's try again with the right socket. There we are. Right, so we'll go for tight. Oh. Yeah, that's tight. And the Loctite will sort anything else out. Okay. Which leaves our plug. U-plug. Which could probably also do is a drop of Loctite. That's not a very good fit either. That's meant to. I'm not quite sure what's happening here because that should be the right socket for that. Anyway, we shall try tightening it up. Right, I'm going to have to turn you up and put this in the vise or something because this is tight. Right, I've had to put the crank trapped between the main web in the vise to do this because it is quite tight. I mean, you couldn't do it unless it was clamped down, I don't think. It's fairly tight, but there we go, it's in. Now that's strange. That wants to go in beyond the edge of the crank, which cannot be right. These shell bearings should in theory be a push fit. We shall see. Wow. There we go. Right. This is the one that had the minor marking on. Must have picked up a small piece of grit. This is the worst one. Oh my word, that's tight. Let me just get something to start. The new shells are new old stock hepalite. You should just roll into place. In fact, you don't particularly want to. No. They are slightly tight. Hold on. There we are. I have to push them on the edge of the bench for a second out of sight, just to get them to sit in place. A little bit of oil in the not keen on rolling round these. There we go. Oh, slightly tighter than I expected. Let me get something to push the edge with again. There we are. So this fitted this rod. So we'll copious amounts of oil on there. Copious amounts of oil on there. And let me just bring you up to make sure that everything is going to be in sight when we do it. So then, numbers to numbers. That's to the outside of the rod. Everything's really well oiled. Pushed on nicely. Now then, the next part, possibly slightly controversial, but nevertheless, is what I'm doing. When I did the Triumph, I read up about how you should always change the bolts, as well as the nuts. However, further research showed that the man in charge of Triumph's racing department said that under normal road usage, the bolts would last 4 rebuilds, whereas the nuts should be changed every time. So given this is such a low mileage engine, I can't see the advice being that much difference for a BSA. I may be wrong, but I can't see there being much difference. So I'm putting new nuts on, the bolts are the old bolts. Whether that's correct, I don't know, but that's what I'm doing. So let me just run these down when I can find my ratchet. And then we shall look in the workshop manual and find out what the correct torque is. Right, that's them snug. Let's find out what the torque is. I'll be back in a second. Right, £22 according to the manual, so let's have a go at that. Take them down evenly. It's quite a lot, isn't it? My word, it is quite a lot for a conrod nut. There we go. Lovely. And then make a noise by banging into the filing cabinet. And then just check there's no tight spots. And it should fall under its own weight left and right. I think that qualifies. Right, I'll do the other one. And then we're ready to reassemble the cases. I don't think there's much point showing you the second one, as it's going to be absolutely identical to the first. So I'll bring you back when I've done it. Right, second one on. Again, we'll do the check for any tight spots. In fact, it drops easily under its own weight, which it does. So all good. So that's our crank ready to go in. I will try and get some oil down in there. I don't imagine I'll get much in, but we shall try and get some in. Just to encourage some in there. And then a bit more around the edge of our rods. Just make sure everything's really well oiled. And I will of course be making sure the oil has completely circulated by using the kickstart only when the engine is completely assembled. And I know oil is returning to the tank before I even attempt to start it. So that should be it. So we're ready to start rebuilding everything back into the cases.